Hey folks, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please be sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating. For those of you who are watching on video, you can tell I am not in my studio. I'm currently in Las Vegas recording from my hotel room. I'm attending the Money Show Las Vegas event where I'm talking about crypto. In fact, today I did a session talking about tokenization. So I wanted to get you guys an update on the Clarity Act and the market because we're seeing some positive updates there. Let's get to the Bitcoin charts. Okay, folks, right now, Bitcoin trading over $65,000, currently at $65,523. So we're seeing the continuation of this relief rally we've been tracking, where we've highlighted that there's a weekly bullish divergence on the chart, which is very good. On the daily chart, the MACD shows the bulls are in full control. The MACD's in the green, and the RSI has room to run. It is currently above the neutral zone. However, this is where I'm getting a little bit concerned because if this is just a relief rally and it takes us up to 70, 72K, will it get rejected by the 200-day moving average because we're still in that downtrend, or is it going to break through and confirm the bottom of the market? Now, today I put out a newsletter with a lot of different metrics and factors that are confirming that the bottom is close, if not already in, such as the Bitcoin supply in loss, hitting levels that we've seen at previous bear markets. So we're really going to have to be patient and see what happens. Maybe we get some solid news around the Clarity Act that pushes the market higher and it allows us to break through. But I think the rally is going to go higher. I think altcoins are going to follow, and many of the altcoin charts actually look very bullish. Now, nothing's guaranteed, so we have to be patient and wait for full confirmation. But as mentioned, the weekly chart has that beautiful bullish divergence, which we've seen at previous bear market bottoms. So let's see if it has the strength, again, to break through the respective moving average. But it's playing out accordingly. In fact, the MACD on the weekly just flipped bullish. So there was just a bullish cross. So another factor that's on our side. And the inverse of that, the USDT stablecoin dominance. And of course, there's a bearish divergence that has been playing out there. So we're seeing confirmation on multiple fronts. This is very, very good. In fact, Bitcoin with its current move appears to be playing out a Wyckoff accumulation schematic. And let's hope that it continues because this Wyckoff accumulation schematic shows us going above 90K. Now, there will be pullbacks along the way, but it's looking like potentially that this rally could take us into September. And obviously Q4 is pretty much always for markets. So let's see, right? Again, no guarantees here, but we can look at the data, the charts, and the metrics and form our thesis. And right now we're seeing a lot on the side of the bottom is close or has already been put in. I love what analyst blockchain backer shared on his X account. It's really good. He did an in-depth breakdown on different metrics that he's looking at, saying the bottom is in. So first he says on-chain data shows that Bitcoin in the loss, the supply and loss, has already hit the FTX crash levels of 2022 and previous bear market levels. And of course, Michael Saylor was forced to sell. So that's kind of catalyst. While you didn't have a collapse, and it's not necessary that we must have a collapse, but capitulation, right? Things like Michael Saylor having to sell is certainly a huge factor. He says here the technical behavior is the same as if FTX has already collapsed after back testing the capitulation breakdown level from back in February. And he says the technical indicators are identical to that time period as shown here with XRP from 2022. So he's also highlighting like the bullish divergence that I've been tracking as well. He says the total market cap for this respective bear market is the same depths as 2022, including the actual FTX crash collapse, landing on the 300-week moving average, which held it during all past bears, including FTX and the pandemic COVID-19 crash in March 2020. So a lot of factors are lining up here indicating bottom is in or close. So even if there's one more flush down, we're not going to 30K for Bitcoin. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm saying it's not probable. It's not highly probable. I believe the higher probability is on the side of this thing has already formed some sort of bottom. Even if Bitcoin wicks down to 52K or 50K and then it starts moving up, because we're not far away from that, right? And it could be that after the move to 70 to 72, there is that rejection. It goes down to 50, then bounces, and that's the true bottom. Or again, the bottom is in, and we are starting the reversal, turning the corner into an uptrend. The other factor is long-term holders, Bitcoin holders, have capitulated and selling is now easing. So this is more signs of the bottom process forming here. So multiple data points and factors, not emotions. We all want the price to go up, but we got the data, right, folks? So this is very, very good. And something that's really good for this rally is Jim Cramer. He's turning bearish. So he says the market is looking miserable. So he's seeing a lot of negative things. We know what this means. Inverse Cramer, right? So expect the rally to continue, and we'll see how things play out over the next week or so. Now, folks, quick word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by FortisX. Guys, let's be honest, the crypto market has been moving sideways for a while now. A lot of people are just sitting on their coins, waiting for the next big move. But while you're waiting, your crypto is just sitting in your wallet doing absolutely nothing. That's why I want to mention one of my longtime partners, FortisX. Instead of just letting your assets sit idle, you can put supported cryptocurrencies into FortisX liquidity pools and earn daily rewards while still keeping the flexibility to withdraw whenever you want. One of the reasons I've continued working with them is because they keep delivering. The team is public. They've successfully completed Cyberscope team verification, KYC, passed independent security audits, and the platform has been building consistently for years. They focus on long-term growth, transparency, and security rather than hype. In a market like this, it makes far more sense to have your crypto working for you instead of letting it sit idle in your wallet. I've worked with FortisX for a long time, and if you're planning to hold your crypto anyway, I genuinely think it's one of the smartest ways to put those assets to work. And folks, I know security is very important to all of us as we hold our crypto assets, and they are fully audited by CertiK, and they are SEC registered and much more. So you got to check out FortisX. Go to fortisx.fi/x/thinkingcrypto. Link will be in the description.
All right, folks, we have a big update around the Clarity Act. So Eleanor Terrett is reporting that she's hearing from multiple industry sources that the White House has agreed to an ethics package for the Clarity Act and sent the language to certain Senate Republicans this afternoon. It's still unclear what the details of the agreement are. She says reached out for comment, but the industry participants are hopeful this could clear the way for the updated bill text to be released soon. Now, we know the Democrats are calling out Trump's crypto exposure and everything he has going on, right? So we've talked a lot about that. And there needs to be a larger ethics conversation because guess what? Elected officials, members of Congress can trade stocks, oil, gold, and commodities. It's not a crypto specific issue. Obviously, Trump has a meme coin and all these different things, which I wish he did not have, but this is what the situation is. And hopefully it's an ethics package that the Democrats agree to and it gets this bill done. Another good news here is Patrick Witt, who was set to depart from his role to go back to service on the military side, says he's delaying that. So he's going to stay on board to get this done. So he says, for the past year, I've worked diligently to get the Clarity Act passed, fulfilling President Trump's vision to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. Last week, it was reported that I was set to leave for mandatory training as part of my service in the Georgia Army National Guard. Right before Clarity hits the Senate floor, while I remain committed to fulfilling my service obligation, I am grateful to report that my training has been deferred and that I will be able to see the effort through the end. Thanks to the President of the United States and David Sachs for the opportunity to continue this important work, and to everyone who reached out last week, let's finish the job. So this is great. He's going to stay on to help get this to the finish line. And let's hope, again, folks, we are able to get this done, because certainly the ethics piece is a big headwind. And in addition to the banks and with the stablecoin yield situation. Now, something that's really good, Senator Mark Warner, who's a Democrat and a very strong Democrat, but I really appreciate him, being open-minded. Last week at a hearing on July 16th specifically, he says, "I want this done. I'm tired of being in crypto hell. I want America to lead in digital assets." Big statement coming from a Democrat. And we need more of this because we know Elizabeth Warren, her MO, she's not going to change her stance because she's getting those big fat checks from the banks, right? This goes back to the Gary Gensler days and much more. She's all out against crypto, and we know why. But you need more Democrat voices like this coming out and saying, look, let's get this done, man. America needs to lead, not Republicans, not Democrats, America, because this will create jobs. It will open up tons of opportunities for innovation and capital investment and much more to get all these things done. And having said that, guys, the backdrop of what's happening across the globe, it's incredible. Like the US is in danger of losing the leading position on crypto. Here's an example. Russia's State Duma to consider bill to regulate Bitcoin and crypto tomorrow, the TASS reports. Here's a quote. "Tomorrow we'll be passing the law in its second and third readings. It's aimed at creating the legal conditions for cryptocurrencies to function in our country." So you have Russia regulating crypto, right? It would be a shame if Russia is able to get this done before the United States. We know the EU has done it already. The UK, if I'm not mistaken, they got a version progressing in their parliament. And imagine these other countries get it passed before the United States, right? What a shame. So our politicians need to get their act together. And this bill will help protect consumers. It will help provide guidance for businesses to know what they can and cannot do with the technology. And again, innovation can flourish and create jobs for people. So there's an economic aspect to this, and we're in a global competition. So the Senate needs to get their act together. Many of you know the deadline is August 7th because Congress goes on August recess, and it's a midterm election year, so nothing's going to get done later this year. They have to do it now. And there's a potential if they don't get it done, this thing does not pass for years. Now, one could argue, and I've heard this argument, that the Democrats want to block it so that they can pass it when they take control of the House. And I'm sure they plan to take a lot out of the bill, and it won't be as friendly to DeFi and much more. But if you can get it done now, just like we got it done in the House last year, we passed the FIT 21, which is a version of the Clarity Act in the House, and it had Democrat support. Let's hope we can get it through the Senate. And I love, again, what Senator Mark Warner had to say, top Democrat there. So fingers crossed, folks. And this bill making progress and passing the Senate could be really good for Bitcoin and the crypto market for turning the corner and maybe giving the confirmation that the bear market's over. Again, not guaranteed. We're talking probabilities here. I don't have a crystal ball. I can look at the charts. I can look at the reports around the Clarity Act and just continue to monitor it closely. So I'm in the same boat with all of you. I've told you guys, though, I am personally accumulating. I'm grabbing up some altcoins around this area, having the long-term view, of course. I'm going to swing trade some of it, buy the dip, sell the rip, right? So, for example, XRPs, I think is a good buy right here. It's starting. I don't have the trend line drawn on my chart, but it's starting to break out a bit, right? It could go up to $1.50 or so, and then you put some money in here at $1.11 or 10 cents, and then sell at $1.50 or $1.49. You can make some money that way. Again, do your own research. You got to understand the market cyclicalities and all that from the micro and both the macro. So hopefully, guys, Congress can get this done. Moving ahead, tokenization has become a strategic priority for 84% of financial firms. A Broadridge survey found Wall Street is accelerating tokenization efforts while betting on hybrid markets where digital and traditional assets coexist. So we've talked a lot about the token economy. Today, I gave a presentation on the token economy and tokenization at the Money Show Las Vegas. And we're seeing all the major institutions around the globe are embracing this. So the survey, 200 North American financial services executives suggested the financial industry is moving beyond experimenting with blockchain technology and beginning to prepare for a future which tokenized assets become part of everyday market infrastructure. So, guys, we've talked about it ad nauseum. They're going to put stocks, bonds, real estates, everything on chain. And you're going to have 24/7 markets, truly global and liquid markets. So that is where things are headed. And here's an example of that. Today we got news that the London Stock Exchange is going to launch round-the-clock trading to compete with 24/7 crypto platforms. This is from the Financial Times. And again, across the globe, stock exchange, banks, major investment firms, they're all on the same page. I reported to you guys just last week that the US and UK formed a partnership to align on tokenized assets and how they will all function cross-border, and much more. And other countries are going to participate here, folks. So stay tuned. Big things happening. So let's see what the market does this week. Let's see how the Clarity Act progresses in the Senate, and hopefully we get some good news by the end of the week, folks. I'll continue to give you guys the updates. Be sure to subscribe to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free. Link will be in the description. As mentioned, I put a write-up out today. Check it out. It includes a lot of the charts and things that I reference in this podcast. Grab a copy of my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And check out my course at mycryptocourse.com. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.